Yo, what's going on, guys? Bexio back, and today we got a brand new video back on Bitcoin and a little bit of on-chain metrics that are pointing towards a big move up in price and a good move for Bitcoin in general. But before we jump into any of that, we will look at the price chart of Bitcoin, which is right here. Here's the daily. You can see the ascending channel basically maybe means this line right here can act as more resistance, but overall I think that the channel is basically useless now. We've broken out of it. We're kind of trending in our own direction. The bigger things to look at is to look at 47,000 and 49,000 as the support and resistance. We want to stay above 47,000 here and get above 49, ideally above 50,000, and try and get into this zone where there is nothing here and try and rally to this 58k. Which signs of on-chain metrics and on-chain moves pointing to that could be the case relatively soon. Maybe not in the next few days, but probably within the next month or so. And we cover the leverage data, all of this stuff. Nothing really big change. I mean, this is a tick up from last time when we saw it, but still nothing big. Just showing there's not confidence in pushing the price down and seeing leverage staying low. This is great for the price where these dips can happen and be natural and be healthy without causing collapses in price and mass panic and all that stuff. So low leverage, low longs are good. Shorts, not showing confidence in wanting to see the market go down or not thinking the market can be pushed down like that. It is a spike in shorts. You can see we were at like 1,300. Now we're at 1,700, but nothing crazy. No big moves. Still doesn't show like confidence in shorting, and leverage is low. So spot trading's the big thing. Market looking very healthy, in my opinion. And then last thing to jump into is this right here before we get into the on-chain charts and stuff. This is one of the 200 Bitcoin ATMs installed in El Salvador. I mean, I don't know about you. It looks pretty nice. Basically, what's being said is that it's gonna have people here to like answer questions. What I guarantee a lot of people don't even understand about the rest of the world really, but in El Salvador especially, they don't use debit cards or credit cards. They don't know what that is. So having an ATM doing this stuff is very new for them, new for everybody. So that space there is supposedly for people who are going to be there to answer questions, guide people through using the ATM, and kind of get people information. So, because they just don't know what credit or debit cards are, don't use them. So, I think that that'd be super foreign for a lot of people outside the U.S. and UK and stuff. Like the rest of the world doesn't really use debit and credit cards. The majority of the world doesn't. So it is good to see this. I mean, it looks like a great building in El Salvador. Little ATM here, and then information booth if you need it. And the first chart we have here is the Bitcoin fees. People talking about, Bitcoin fees being too high and not wanting to deal with that stuff, which is tied to SegWit adoption because SegWit makes transactions cost less, and the SegWit adoption is up about 80%. So expect fees to stay low, says Plan B. This is the chart right here. See SegWit adoption is massive. It's just a way to send transactions and not use as much fees and stuff. So the blue line is fees. You can see fees trending are very low now. And people think of that as people not using the blockchain as much or not wanting demand for blockchain. But it really just correlates with the SegWit adoption. SegWit brings the fees down, and so there's still a massive adoption, and fees are keeping low. So a good look for Bitcoin and for Bitcoin in general. People complained about the fees, and a lot of the problem is many exchanges don't use SegWit, so that is a lot of fees there. They use legacy wallets. So with this adoption of SegWit, more exchanges doing that, people might see lower fees and a big reduction in fees, and maybe that'll ease people's minds on fees. And we have Bitcoin holders. Net position change is just skyrocketing. People are looking to hold their Bitcoin and acquire more Bitcoin. So you see red is people selling, or a holder net position going down, so selling, but this would be based on longer term holders, people who hold Bitcoin for more than probably 6 months. This is a 30-day change, though. You see, last time we saw this sideways trade kind of, and then going down here, they were accumulating, long-term holders accumulating, and that leads to the price pumping up. And then right now we see we've been going sideways a little bit here for a few days now, and holders already exploding in buying Bitcoin. So hopefully we're seeing this beginning stages before 50K. I think we'll see a lot of holders getting more Bitcoin and explode above 50K up to that $58,000 resistance level, and then to new all-time highs on top of that, going to holders set the floor. As everybody knows, holders set the floor. So when Bitcoin's trading sideways, holders that are accumulating set the base, and then when it explodes up, that base is a very strong support area, as well as there's a chance we never go back to that price again. And we've got the illiquid supply of Bitcoin. It says this wave of Bitcoin supply shock has the most momentum of any in recent history. We're going much higher over the coming months. So this just shows different like supply shocks. This is 2017 supply shock. This included the halving and stuff. People, supply shock happening, price booms up. Another one, supply shock starts to happen, price booms up. This was the most recent 2020 halving. Supply shock happens, price booms up. And right now we're seeing right here another supply shock. This is the most upward momentum in supply shock that's happened. You see, it's even this one, it comes up and like it's slower up, but this is just a sharp turn directly up, supply shock hitting, and this is going to be a massive supply shock that hits. So this move could be more explosive than what we've seen before, and people wanting to get in Bitcoin. There's only X amount of Bitcoin, so supply shocks are going to happen when demand goes over supply, and then there's just not enough to go around, so prices have to match that. I mean, you can look through these other supply shocks. It's not straight up, it's like the little rally, come back down, rally again, the supply shock moving up in the trend, and then right here we have it moving up again. This was a more explosive, but kind of down, and then going up till here, the top of this RSI chart. And then this one was the most similar to this right here, which showed the price moving from like 10,000 to 65,000. So if we see a same big move like that, where we're going from this bottom line up to the top very quickly in basically a straight line, going from 49,000 to 6 digits is nowhere out of the question. And this is Will Clemente. That was his chart from the last tweet. Him like talking about it, showing or saying that the strongest on-chain accumulation in the history of Bitcoin is happening right now. Bears are flat out wrong. Enjoy the shakeout before 50K plus. So he's looking more short-term stuff with all these analytics, which makes sense. They would have more of a dictate on the short term. But even long-term, with this supply shock, all of this happening, I think that six-figure Bitcoin is nowhere out of the question, as well as the super cycle theory is nowhere out of the question either. So seeing a breakaway from this 4-year cycle, this boom and bust cycle, I think is a good chance to happen right now with the amount of adoption we're having and corporate interest and all of this stuff. Breaking away from that cycle now makes more sense than ever has in the history of Bitcoin. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Bitcoin looking great, on-chain metrics looking great, even the price staying above levels that we want to see, and we just see the resistance at 50K. That's where our next big target to get above is. But as always, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. See you guys in my next video.